What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update, infrastructure update, and daily news report for Saturday, October 23rd. So today we're going to discuss the $800 voucher for seniors. We're going to talk about the potential first-time home buyers credit and how we're going to address affordable housing. We're going to dive into the infrastructure bill, talk about student loan cancellation, and in the end, I'll talk a little bit about the upcoming vaccine. So that's what we're going to discuss in today's video. Hopefully you're having an incredible weekend so far. If you are, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button, and let's jump right into the update. First, Democrats' plan is to have the human infrastructure bill finalized by this coming week. That is the goal. We have known for over a month right about a month, that Nancy Pelosi and the House, they want to pass the $1.2 trillion bipartisan bill by October 31st. That's next Sunday. So we're coming up to that deadline. Many expect we are going to get very close to that deadline, but we will reach an agreement. But it really comes down to what Senator Joe Manchin is doing and what he's saying. As of right now, he is not optimistic that we get a deal done this week, or as far as this weekend is concerned, but according to a couple aides, that he is optimistic that we will get further along this coming week. According to Joe Manchin, he's still considering different provisions, but he is working with progressives at this time. So it's not like he's trying to slow play us. He's trying to get something done, but he doesn't feel that there's a need to try to rush this entire process just because there is no deadline for the human infrastructure bill. There is a deadline for the $1.2 trillion bipartisan bill because of the transportation that is within it. So we'll see what happens there. What we do know, and again, I addressed this yesterday or last night, so if you didn't get a chance to watch that video, don't worry, I'll address it right now. But now we know that Medicare and the tax revenue that's coming to pay for this bill, those are the two big holdups. Okay? So the first one, lawmakers at this time are trying to figure out a way to pay for this $2 trillion spending plan. Well, the way that they plan on doing that is, well, the IRS enforcement, they got other things as well. The next big one, though, is a billionaire tax. This was brought on by Senators Elizabeth Warren and Ron Wyden from Oregon. This is actually coming because Senator Kyrsten Sinema says she would not support a single penny of raised taxes for corporations or taxing wealthier earners. So she does support a billionaire tax, at least according to reports, and this is great news for progressives because they have been saying, pretty much led by Senator Bernie Sanders, that billionaires have not been paying their fair share in taxes because billionaires actually pay a lower tax rate than most Americans. And that's where progressives are saying that's completely wrong. That is not the way the tax code should actually work. But billionaires do find loopholes, and that's how they get out paying higher taxes. We also know that lawmakers are having a very tough time trying to figure out Medicare and trying to put the final pieces together. According to reports, progressives are demanding that Medicare be fully expanded, and this is going to include vision, dental, and hearing. We know it's not going to include the age, pretty much going from 65 down to 60. That's not going to happen. That's been cut out of this for months. But progressives say, and again, this is pretty much led by Senator Bernie Sanders, that Medicare has to be expanded. Now, yesterday, I addressed how there's multiple reports of a new $800 voucher that lawmakers were discussing. This $800 voucher, again, because we were hearing that it was going to go for dental or it could potentially be going for vision. And that's where things got really, really interesting was, well, dental costs more money than vision. So I looked into that, and now we have clarification. Lawmakers say they want to approve an $800 stimulus voucher for all seniors in order to pay for dental care. So here's the difference, though. President Biden says that this will be needed in order to get the programs up and running a little bit sooner. And this will function very similar to that of a flexible spending account. So Okay, and just to try to give you an idea, right now vision and hearing are still being debated. They're still being negotiated because there's no consensus here yet. But one thing that we have heard in the past is dental and vision will be included. Hearing, it's really up in the air. And so right now, progressives are demanding all three are included because they are bringing the price down so much. Remember, they started at $3.5 trillion. We had moderates starting at $1.5 trillion. We had a $2 trillion gap. Well, moderates at this time are, the report is they are willing to go up to $2 trillion max. That means they'll go up $500 billion. Progressives will come down $1.5 trillion to get there to $2 trillion. So Bernie Sanders says we should see all three, vision, dental, and hearing, included into Medicare because we are coming down so much. But we will see. We do know that Senator Joe Manchin is opposed to expanding Medicare, though, and this is one of the big issues. This is a big issue because he says we should not be expanding Medicare because that's going to put Medicare in a bigger bind when they are supposed to be running out of money in 2026. 5 years, they're going to be running out of money. But Senator Bernie Sanders says that we do not have to worry about Medicare becoming insolvent because if we allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices, then that would save them billions of dollars, which could go towards expanding Medicare. But guess what? Senator Joe Manchin, he's actually opposed to letting Medicare negotiate drug prices. So right now, those are the two big holdups. The tax revenue portion and figuring out, are we going to include a billionaire tax? And then Medicare, healthcare, that coverage. That's where the two negotiations are happening at this time. But again, as we know more as to where those talks are going, what we're going to see, I promise I will fill you in on that update. Now that the human infrastructure bill is getting closer to an agreement and closer to passing, Democratic lawmakers are also saying that President Biden should, not that he will, he should fulfill at least one of his campaign promises. Well, which one is that? Well, it's student loan forgiveness. They say President Biden needs to at least cancel $10,000 in student debt. Senator Elizabeth Warren said that 15 million borrowers would be debt-free if President Biden did this. She also went on to say 36 million borrowers would be debt-free if President Biden forgave up to $50,000 per borrower. But lawmakers say that President Biden's promise of $10,000, okay, this must be done. This must be done because, well, it was a promise. Senator Warren, she said that, and I quote, canceling $50,000 in student debt would completely wipe out student loans for 84% of borrowers, including more than 3 million borrowers who have been paying their loans for more than 20 years. This is the single most effective executive action President Biden could take to jumpstart our economy and begin to narrow the racial wealth gap. So, just to give you an idea, let me ask you this. Who here has been paying a student loan for more than 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Let me know down in the comment section below. How long have you been paying off your student debts? I'm just curious because I know multiple people that have been paying for 5 years. I know a few that have been paying for 10 years. I know one person that has been paying for close to 20 years on her student debts. So to me, that is insane. That's so much. That's so many payments to be making. And the fact is that she doesn't even have a career in the field that she went to school for. That's the crazy part. So again, school, it's not for everybody, but that's what everyone keeps pushing. Go to school, go to college, rack up this debt. Well, the problem is if those jobs aren't available and you can't get them, it takes too long to earn a higher wage to pay off those debts. Is it really the best option for you? I don't know. Some people say yes, some people say no. Now, here's the reason why I bring this up, and I want to talk about student debt. This is because a group of, I think, like 14 House Democrats about 3 weeks ago, they send a letter to President Biden demanding that they have answers regarding the letter or the memo that he sent the Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona. He asked him the legality of him using an executive order to cancel up to $50,000 in student debt. Well, the Education Secretary has never responded to that memo. So, these House Democrats demanded answers, and they wanted answers within 21 days of writing that letter. Guess what? That deadline was yesterday. It was yesterday. We still didn't get an answer, still do not have an answer as of this morning, and I do not expect we have an answer in the next week. My guess is President Biden will just kind of forget about this until House Democrats really push for this. But they say that they want answers. The other thing is, they say is even more worrisome, is borrowers will be required to start paying back their loans in about 100 days. So, at the start of February, they will have to start paying back their loans. Here's the other issue. Many of these loans that these people have had for 5, 10, 20 years, chances are many of these loans have been sold to other companies. So the problem is when these borrowers go to try to pay their loan, their payment isn't actually going to go through because that payment has, or that loan has been sold to somebody else. So now they have to figure out who has their new loan. And if it didn't happen already, many experts are anticipating, many of these companies are going to sell their loans very soon. So if this happens, again, it's going to create headaches. It's probably going to create a lot of people falling behind on payments. And again, these things are not good. But this is why many lawmakers are saying we have to cancel at least $10,000 in student debt. But again, we will see if that actually happens. We also know multiple House Democrats are fighting at this time for a first-time home buyers down payment assistance program. They say with home prices increasing more and more, the down payment is going up as well. With the median home price here in the United States right about $275,000 at this time, this would take, if you get an FHA loan with good credit, an FHA loan would still require 3.5% down, which is about $9,600. So just short of $10,000 for your down payment. But let me ask you this. How long would it take you to earn and save $10,000? For many people, this isn't something that can be done in just 1 year. This is something that would take 2, 3, possibly 4 years in order to save up this kind of money. So, experts are saying that not only do you have to put the money up for the down payment, which would be $10,000 on this median home, but you would have to pay for closing costs, because in a seller's market, the seller is not going to pay your closing costs. That you got to pay for an inspection and appraisal fees as well. So there's other things that you got to pay for that most people don't anticipate when they're buying a home. It's because of this enormous upfront cost, experts say, that the first-time home buyers are unable to afford any home simply because of the cost of entry, which is true. So when we're discussing affordable housing, when we're discussing first-time home buyers tax credit, right? Whether it's $10,000, $15,000, right? There's other options. We've discussed this in the past, but right now lawmakers are saying that we need to provide something. According to reports, House Democrats are very open to different ideas. They're not set on just a tax credit, okay? They're looking for just additional assistance programs, but they say more must be done to provide adequate housing for lower income earners. Now, they're even arguing that cutting the budget for affordable housing is a bad move. And they say this because studies show that funding for public housing has fallen by 62% since the 90s. 30% of public housing has visible mold growth. 47% actually have insects inside their homes. Larger cities worry that right now trimming the budget would mean residents are continuing to live in these rundown homes or apartments. And just to give you an idea, in New York City alone, they need about $40 billion in order to address their backlog. $40 billion to address the backlog. Not anything moving forward. So again, we're in a little bit of a crisis, and we have been for years, But experts are saying that right now we need to provide a little bit more, but lawmakers are saying we're trying to get a common consensus in this upcoming infrastructure bill, this human infrastructure bill of potentially $1.5 to $2 trillion. They're saying the hard part is they have to make cuts, and affordable housing is being cut. It's not being completely done away with, but we are seeing cuts. So we'll see what happens there, but as of right now, many people are worried that they're going to have to continue to live in those rundown homes and apartments simply because there's no money to fix them. But let's address the worker shortage and what experts are currently saying. Experts are worried that the worker shortage, along with the supply chain issues, are impacting us all. Well, of course they are. They say that with consumer confidence at very low levels, too many economists worry that we are in the start of another recession. Experts say that the long COVID that we have seen from many people is causing people not to return to work. Many are trying to get their smell back. They're trying to get their taste back. They want to taste food again. Others are saying they are consistently tired after contracting COVID. And until these kind of issues subside, they don't want to go back to work. They just don't want to because they understand what long COVID has done to them, has impacted their lives. So until we see remedies for these COVID-related situations, many people don't want to go back to work. The problem is many of these people are women. Okay, so at this time, experts say that women are being negatively impacted because of everything that's going on. At the same time, the economy cannot wait for people to get back to work. Everybody is struggling because of the limited supplies on shelves and increases in prices on everything else. I addressed gasoline prices the other day. They continue to go up. I remember I went to one pump, I think it was like on Monday of this week. Filled up my truck, filled it up all the way, whatever. Gas was, I think, $3.69. I think it was $3.69, something like that. Then went to a pump just last night, and in 1 week it was $3.77 or $3.78, something like that. So 8 to 9 cents in a week. Wow, it's really going up. So it's impacting me. It's probably impacting you. My guess is it impacts every single one of us. But speaking of COVID, here's what we know right now. The FDA says that the benefits of the Pfizer COVID vaccine likely outweigh the risks. The FDA is going to meet this week to discuss whether they are going to approve the Pfizer vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds, but at this time they say it's likely to outweigh the risks. Okay, I just want to leave it at that. Reports do indicate that if the vaccine is going to consist of just 1/3 of the dose of the adult vaccine, we do know that if this is approved this week, that the Biden administration is going to try to get the vaccinations out as soon as the beginning to middle of November. That's kind of what we're hearing at this time. Again, I do have an 8-year-old, so I will be looking into this heavily. So I will keep you updated on everything. Again, I'm not just gonna give you the good news, okay? Like I've done before in the past when the FDA was considering approval of a vaccine, I give you the good news and I give you the bad news. I give you the upsides, the benefits, and I also provide the risks, because again, we need to know both sides. Whether you are for the vaccine or against it, every vaccine could be different. So we have to address every single one as it is different. So I promise I will do that. I'll bring you the good news, I'll bring you the bad news, and you can decide for yourself and your children whether or not you and them do get the vaccine. Again, doesn't matter if you get it or not. Every single one of us has that choice. We can decide whether we get it for ourselves, get it for our children. It doesn't matter. It's our choice, it's our body. This is why we live here in the United States, because we have this choice. So again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend. Have an incredible Saturday. If you did enjoy today's video, go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.